I just want to be free. It's not so hard to see. Why won't you let me be in total insanity? It's total insanity. Welcome to the Squirrel episode, the new backlit Total Insanity. Get used to it. Get used to it, man. Okay. So, today we're talking about those little critters you know and love and maybe hate. They're kind of cute, yet kind of annoying. Sometimes a little too bold. Sometimes they're friendly. Sometimes they try to get into bird feeders. Sometimes they dig under your home and make a scratching noise for a few weeks. I just got a notification to watch this week's John Oliver. Remind me in an hour. So, on the Squirrel episode, we're going to discuss our furry friends, what they mean to us. So, let's see. Squirrels. I mean, please excuse me, I just ate a grilled cheese. The dairy is making my mucus supply in excess. Notice the beady eyes. Notice the fluffy tail. Notice how similar to mice and rats, yet slightly different. Without that tail, they would be grosser, perhaps, but that fluffy tail kind of adds like, hey, I'm cute. But there is a little bit more cuteness in the face, you know, for sure. But then, look at these little hands. Look at these little freaking sharp little fingers, little toes. They're a little wily, little troublesome, they're little freaking wily little guys. But, you know, we kind of ignore them sometimes. Squirrels are around us all the time in our daily lives, and they just pass us by. Well, in that respect, not really thinking about the squirrels, there is something that has been happening to squirrels that is perhaps unknown to the general public. But before we get to that, let me cut to the squirrel cam. So right now it's angled pretty high. We're only going to catch squirrels if they happen to be in the tip-top treetops. They do that, but there's probably not enough to eat. Whatever. This is the squirrel cam. We'll check back in with the squirrel cam later. So, as I was mentioning, the hidden cost of COVID-19. This is probably happening many places around the country and world. What is this on my phone? This white crud. Got it. At the University of South Florida, USF for short, there's a very large squirrel population, and they've been affected by this pandemic just like humans. So let's check it out, shall we? Take note of the emaciated squirrel population running towards me in hope of food. Have they gotten thinner? I don't know. You be the judge. Squirrel barking herd. Squirrel barking herd from all the trees. With a lack of students on campus comes with a lack of trash can food that the squirrel population has become accustomed to living with and needing for survival.
Notice the bare cans of trash.
I'm going.
Where have the squirrels gone to? They had to branch out, move on, away from the building structures, into the trees I just passed where I heard barking. But now, yes, squirrels do bark. But now, what do I hear? I hear nothing. Silence. I see no squirrels running around.
I'm going to die.
The population has perhaps been decimated, or perhaps they're just under starvation. Either way, I'm sure this will always be known as the Great Squirrel Famine of 2020. We find a lone squirrel chewing on a twig. Since when do squirrels eat twigs? Exactly. On a normal day, me riding down this, there would be squirrels jumping out of my way left and right. In fact, one time a squirrel jumped into the spokes of my bike tire, and yet there's no squirrels running to be seen. Have the population simply dispersed, or have they died off? I saw many squirrels in a different location earlier, more on the outskirts. Perhaps they're moving to the outskirts of campus in search of new food sources, while in the center of campus there remains a vital lack of nourishment and sustaining life force. Here we find more squirrels. This squirrel looks very thin. Usually the squirrel's looking very chubby. But look at this very thin squirrel right here, barely running away. Perhaps because of lack of energy, perhaps because maybe they're thinking this human may drop a morsel of food for my sustenance, but there's none to be found.
I'm going to die. As you can see, the squirrels have been hit hard by this pandemic, just as many creatures have. Squirrels are overlooked neighbors. We'll be talking to a special guest coming up soon. But first, let's get one more check at that squirrel cam! Great squirrel cam! Okay. You should be able to hear me now, yeah? We're only gonna find squirrels if they're We're only gonna find squirrels if they're up in the tip-top treetops, which isn't very often. But sometimes they're up there. Sometimes they're up there. They're up there barking away. But you know, that's been the squirrel cam. Squirrel cam. Okay, now let's get ready for our next guest. And that guest would be a special squirrel named Robert Squirrel. Oh, I didn't think about this. Hold on a second here. I overlooked a critical technological. Whatever. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay. We're gonna get the squirrel here. Robert Squirrel. He's calling in through.
Hello there.
Hello, is this Robert Squirrel?
It is.
Nice. Okay, I can see it just came up on the video chat on the screen. So now, please. Okay, so thank you for being with us today, Robert Squirrel. How are you doing to start off?
I'm doing okay. I could be better.
I'm sorry. What's what's ailing you today?
Well, as you've mentioned, the squirrel population has just been hit very hard, and it's just been a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. I know you guys have been affected just like humans have during this time. And people often look maybe I don't know. I feel like some people think squirrels are cute. Some people look down on squirrels, but I think we have to remember they're our friendly nature neighbor, and they're pretty ubiquitous. They're everywhere. What have your experiences with humans been like? Have they been kind of nice to you, feeding you food, or have they been more like throwing things at you to get you away from a bird feeder?
Yeah, they've been very standoffish, even more so since the pandemic started. And I don't know, I just feel like we're being deserted, and our livelihoods depend on them being generous and offering us something. But I just don't know if it'll happen.
That's sad. That sounds like something similar happening in the human population. There's a certain few that hold a lot of power and wealth, and it's really up to them of them being generous if the other people get to live a life or not. And so at a certain point, if they're not generous enough, certain things have to be taken. And so, I mean, would you ever consider banding together with your squirrel brethren some type of squirrel uprising?
I can't say too much, Leo, but I can say that there is talk.
Wow, wow.
And I haven't personally been affected with losing any loved ones, but I have several friends who have lost their close family members.
That's really.
And
I'm sorry.
and we're just waiting for any help.
Oh, I'm sorry you're going through such a tough time. I'm sorry that a lot of humans have turned a blind eye. Um, I guess what can we do going forward to help out? If people want to help out our squirrel friends, what can we do going forward? Can we maybe leave some snacks on the ground, leave a stray French fry, or is there something else that I don't know? I don't know if that's the best way. I feel like it's best to ask you instead of us trying to like come up with some problem. I feel like it's best to hear like what you would prefer as a squirrel community.
Actually, we get much more of our food from the trash cans and leftover morsels and things. It's very rare when someone comes and reaches out and to offer us something. And as you know, you can't survive on bread and French fries alone. Although it will, pleasure you for the moment, it's not sustainable.
Very true. Very true. Just like feeding ducks bread, not good. Even though I like doing it, it swells up in their stomach and messes them up. But that's a little bit different. But I
Well,
understand the health factor. I mean, you guys in the nature, you guys eat nuts, and those really have tons of nutrients.
yes, and some humans are just sadistic and feed us things that they know will harm us and kill us, because squirrels, sometimes we have a hard time differentiating between what is toxic and what is edible.
Very true. Very true. Sorry, were you going to say something more?
No, I mean,
Oh, I thought I
do you
heard a
have any
breath.
further questions?
No, I thought I heard a breath. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know how it is here in Tone Saturday. We play it loose and loose. Nothing's. We're just going with the flow, walking with the walk, as the squirrels would say. Climbing up that tree till you get to the top branch. I don't know if squirrels say that. I'm sorry if I offended you. Um,
I see. Squirrels do. I mean, we don't say that exact phrase, but
okay. And this, I guess, thank you. I really want to thank you for being here because a lot of squirrels like don't really want to talk to us right now. A lot of squirrels, I don't know. I just appreciate you being a guest. And to end it on a bit of a lighter note, what's your favorite type of nut?
wow, that is a difficult question for me because I really do love nuts of all kinds. But if I had to choose, I would probably say the macadamia.
Oh, excellent choice. Macadamia nuts are great. I don't know if you ever managed. I know it might be unhealthy, but I don't know if you've ever managed to get a scrap of a macadamia nut cookie. They're pretty good.
Oh, yes, yes. It's been a rare delicacy, but I have tried it once or twice.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Okay, well, I mean that's all I got for you. If there's anything else you'd like to say, feel free to say it. But otherwise, I'll say goodbye. But is there anything else you'd like to say? I like kept saying the same phrase over and over, repeated. I'm sorry, Squirrel.
That's fine. I've kind of developed my squirrel accent as the time went on, and I'm somewhat British.
Oh yeah. Is your family? Did they stow away on a boat from like the UK or maybe Australia or South Africa?
I do believe that some of my ancestors came from England, but I don't. I mean, I'm sure something originated from Africa because almost everything did, supposedly.
Very true. Okay, that's true. Oh, you know
I
what?
don't know much about my ancestors because um, we just don't live very long.
Yeah, I can imagine it's hard to track squirrel ancestry without any type of internet, unless you have some type of nut net, intranut net. I don't know.
Not as of yet. We have not evolved to that point.
Okay. I see you have nut chat, which is what we're chatting with right now, but that's only an application on another device. Anyway, I actually did get.
So
I did think of one
the
more.
human set this up for me.
Yes, it's good. It's good to know how you got access to this technology. Now, I actually did think of one more question that I think is kind of an interesting question. How do you feel about like your adjacent animals, like rats and mice, and perhaps even the capybara, almost a giant tailless squirrel? Are you friends with those creatures, or are you kind of guys kind of just stay away from each other in your own lane? Looks like we lost. Looks like we lost. Uh. Looks like we lost Robert Squirrel there for a moment. I'm sorry there. What happened? Oh, sorry. I can hear you now. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we got disconnected temporarily.
I can't believe such a short chat like dropped. What kind of infrastructure is this? Regardless, I don't know if you heard my question. I just before I let you go, I just had one more question I thought of that I thought was a good question. As far as your
Sure.
as far as your adjacent animal friends, like rats and mice and even the large tailless capybara, it's almost like a giant squirrel. How do you feel about them? Are you kind of like friendly with them, or do you guys kind of stay away from each other in your own lane, or like how do you feel about your other brethren?
Well, I would say that squirrels and birds, we cohabitate quite well. We don't come very close to each other. We don't mind each other. Um, Bugs and stuff are just annoying, I think, to every other living creature. Although we do eat them on occasion, they're fairly just a pest. They're just a pest to everybody, I would say.
Fairly rudimentary.
And, yes. Raccoons, on the other hand, they are pretty aggressive against almost all other woodland creatures. I mean, they're quite cute, but if you come up close, they get pretty feisty. And then, bunnies. Oh, bunnies are probably
Oh yeah, they're kind
my
of close to
favorite.
you.
Yes. Chipmunks. We sometimes have feuds because we have so much in common, yet so many differences.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's very accurate.
Now, the capybara, did you say?
Yeah, a capybara. I mean, you probably never encountered those. Are like over in a different. I guess like
Yes,
African or South American squirrels probably encounter those more.
Right, that is a mythological creature in our little town.
Wow! Wow!
We hear stories from other lands, but I have never seen one.
Wild. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. It's been great talking to you, getting some insight into how the squirrels are doing in this time, and I wish you and the squirrel community the best. And is there any type of social media we can reach you at?
What was that? Sorry.
Is there any type of I don't know? Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm just thinking of something else. Is there any type of social media? Like, do you have an Instagram or Facebook we can maybe connect with the squirrels?
Oh, I'm sorry to say not at this moment, but I would glad to be on your show again and set something up.
Oh yeah,
I'm just not very good with technology, so I might need
you
assistance.
did mention that. I apologize for forgetting that fact that you needed
And
to.
we would
Sorry.
we would like to communicate with humans more often, and we appreciate you reaching out to us because, as I said earlier, not many humans even give us the time of day.
Well, that's very nice to hear, and I like to do anything I can help. I've always enjoyed my fellow squirrels. So, okay, thanks for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you guys, as we start opening things up a bit more, I hope you guys can find a bit more food, get a bit more healthy, get your numbers back up.
Well, thank you, Leo. I hope things go well for you humans as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Excellent. That was Robert Squirrel. It was great talking to a squirrel. It was great getting their perspective. I once again want to thank Robert Squirrel, and maybe we will have him back on the show someday. Not even someday is too long of a word. Maybe we will have him back on the show because I think we could have some fun. So let's get one more check of the squirrel cam. I actually don't know if I cut to this camera or if I forgot to cut to this camera. I may have forgot. As you can see, you probably don't see much squirrels from this distance with this camera and the tip-top treetops, but you never know what types of squirrels could be out on the horizon. And with that, there's no clouds in the sky. The squirrel episode has just commenced. I would like to once again thank my guest, Robert Squirrel, for being here. And for you guys out there, remember, this is a tough time for all animals, all creatures of the earth. So, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for watching. And I think soon we'll be, I'm going to be amping up the promo. And I will be, as the semester begins, I will be going back into the studio. So the production levels shall go up. Not that this production has been bad. This production has been different. It's been interesting. It's been unique. I think it's fulfilled its purpose. But just going forward, then we got some good things still in store for you guys here at Total Insanity. So, catch you on the